In front of us, we welcome now Dr. Angi Bourgeois, Dean of the College of Architecture, Art, and Design at Mississippi State University. Leah Kemp, Director of the Fred Carl Jr. Small Town Center, Mississippi State University. And David Lewis, the Executive Director of the Mississippi Arts Commission. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us on. We're thrilled to be here. What's really special about today, and I'll really just talk here at the beginning and let these wonderful ladies talk about the topic, is that I don't know that everybody knows this, but right now in Venice, Italy, people are learning about the Neshoba County Fair. And I get the pleasure at the Arts Commission to really celebrate excellence in the arts in Mississippi. This is a great way. Mississippi State's two design research centers, the Small Town Center as well as the Gulf Coast Community Design Center, are both featured in this International Olympics of Architecture, really. And so we had the pleasure, Dr. Bourgeois and I, with Dr. Keenum, to see the exhibit, but I wanted to bring them on because Leah Kemp is responsible for one of the installations, which features the porches of Neshoba.
Okay. So, Dr. Bourgeois, while we're talking about architecture and you being the dean of the College of Architecture, I'd have to say the architecture here of the cabins, the houses, the structures is maybe unique in the world.
I absolutely. Getting the chance, I'm going to admit, full disclosure, this is my first visit to Neshoba.
Yep.
And so getting to see the true heart of vernacular architecture, to be able to celebrate the South, the culture of the South, the openness, these porches, which I know Leah will be able to talk a little bit more about. It's the diversity, but also just that welcoming aspect of these porches is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it I think truly does reflect the spirit of the South, the hospitality of the state of Mississippi, and to your point, every year when I come over for this event, hosting the show, I know so many people that have cabins here. Inevitably, they come by and say, hey, look, if you need anything, we're in this number, come on by. I mean, that's just the way we do things in Mississippi.
We have been invited to lunch about 7 times.
Well, so you
in
get
15, 20 minutes.
But that, I mean, I think that says a lot about Mississippi's culture, just friendly, welcoming, never met a stranger, and it's kind of cool to be part of. So, Leah, explain your connection to this porches stuff. I'm not sure I quite get that.
Yeah,
explain that.
It's kind of a little bit difficult to explain, but I think David kind of hit it off pretty well, or described it really well. So the Venice Biennale is the Olympics of Architecture, if you will. I think that's a great way to describe it. But they have different countries represent their architecture from their country. And so the American Pavilion had a competition, and it was focused on porches. And so we submitted a project, the Neshoba County Fair.
Wow.
And so we have a long history of research focused on the Neshoba County Fair from our center, and so we expanded on that. And so we really talked about the public nature of this place and how the private porches expand into these beautiful public realms. So, like Angie said, we've been invited to lunch 7 times already, but it's because we are in that public realm where the porch kind of extends on forever, right? And so it's this great kind of place of engagement.
Well, we may have more porches on these fairgrounds properties than in the entire rest of the country, honestly.
Right.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. So, David, the connection of the Arts Commission to this endeavor, this competition, and so forth.
Absolutely. So my background is I got my bachelor's at Mississippi State in architecture, and at the Arts Commission we get to celebrate anything in art and design and architecture, music, the excellence of that. And so when I heard that Mississippi State's first entry into the Olympics of Architecture was 2 of their design centers, that's pretty astounding. I love when we have a good Mississippi championing story. That's half of the university programs at the exhibit. So I was like really proud, and I was like, Dr. Keenum, you gotta see this. And so he got to the chance to go over there, Dr. Bourgeois, and I met him over there, and we took him and the provost, a couple others, through the exhibit, and their daughter, and she was like, I know that cabin, I know who stays there. And so it was cool for them to experience that, but also to see different people from all over the world see something that's like what I think is Mississippi's like best cultural hidden gem is the Neshoba County Fair. And what makes it so much beyond, the pavilions and the political speech and the races is that sense of community, which is so cool. The exhibit is porches. It's called An Architecture of Generosity, which is like big terms, but it really speaks to like the way that a front porch makes people feel at home or feel welcome. And what better place to do that than Mississippi? What better setting than the Neshoba County Fair?
So, Dr. Bourgeois, are porches more in vogue or less in vogue in current architectural work?
Well, I think that, architecture goes in cycles,
yeah.
right? And
like clothes.
Yeah, I think that, right, exactly. The fashion.
It's so old, it's in style.
Right.
But I do think that right now, community and the ability to connect is front of face, because, that's, we know that architecture and design shapes people's experience.
Okay.
And so I think because people are seeming to seek more connection, that openness in sort of the facades or the front piece of most architectures is probably going to be considering heavily. I think a lot of architects are going to be thinking about how does this space define people's experience.
So do you feature some of the architecture here in the classroom? Do you guys talk about that as an example, for example, of design?
I did a couple of times when I was in school.
Okay.
I know I took an elective about it, and we sort of studied it in one of our design classes.
And I think we talk about the cultural relevance of particular styles or parts of architecture, and because our students need to think about how do you shape somebody's experience while looking to the past and looking to other great examples. This is not one example. There's such a multiplicity of different evolutions of the same idea. So I would say yes, we do, but we're really trying to get our students to think, what is this thing called a porch cause people to feel and act? I always say, we in our college manipulate people, because design guides how we think, feel, move, buy, experience.
So, Leah, this may be gaining more exposure for the architecture, for the porches, which are part of virtually every cabin here on the world stage, than maybe anything in the history of Mississippi.
Could be.
Yeah.
We're kind of hopeful for that.
What's the response? What's the reaction to that?
I think it's been amazing. I went to Venice for the grand opening for the Biennale, and the concierge at a hotel, my cousin came to stay, and the concierge was helping him plan some stuff, and he said, I've got to go to this Biennale thing. Have you ever heard of it? And the concierge was like, oh my gosh, someone who is participating in this? This is amazing. So even on kind of an international level, I think people understand that this is a pretty wonderful deal. But I think when I was there too, we had a little talk, and I was talking on the front porch of the exhibit, and I had a family come up to me afterwards, and they said, are you the one that was talking about the Neshoba County Fair? And I said, yes. And they said, we have a cabin there.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to go all the way to Italy to meet somebody who had a cabin here. So
that's incredible.
I think that's pretty amazing.
So David, as the executive director of the Mississippi Arts Commission, what do the other members of the commission think about this?
I think that they're thrilled when we have the opportunity to really showcase Mississippi's culture on the international stage. I mean, that's just a really incredible opportunity, just like we would if we had, the students or athletes in the Olympics itself.
Sure.
It's a really great pride point for us. It's an opportunity for us to showcase our own homegrown talent and the really hard work that design centers like the Small Town Center and the Gulf Coast Community Design Center are doing to really address the things happening all across Mississippi.
Yeah. Dr. Bourgeois, we got about a minute left. Is it fair to describe this as kind of David said, the Olympics of architecture?
Absolutely, of design in general.
Okay.
So the Venice Biennale is something that happens on a rotation. So every other year there's a celebration of architecture in the world and art in the world.
Okay.
So the prime global competition or representation, sort of like an old school World Expo.
Yep.
Okay.
So there are pavilions of all these countries that participate every other year in architecture and art, and to be a part of that is really a global stamp of approval. So it's incredible.
Leah, before we go, are there like awards that are provided for?
Oh, I wish. No.
I mean, you're just exhibiting. Right?
I'll just say it was just a dream come
That's
true.
neat,
really,
man.
a professional and personal dream to be able to go and exhibit there and to me, that's the reward. Just getting to be a part of that, and,
Sure.
and getting to be a part of a collection of architects and architecture from all over the world.
Sharing that common love.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was really incredible.
Well, you guys make Mississippi proud. Yeah,
Thank
it's really awesome.
I'm excited
Yeah.
about it.
They
Appreciate
make
you
us
coming
proud,
on.
too.
Dr. Angi Bourgeois, the Dean of the College of Architecture at Mississippi State. Leah Kemp, Director of the Fred Carl Jr. Small Town Center at MSU. And David Lewis, Executive Director of the Mississippi Arts Commission, have been our guests here. We're at the Neshoba County Fair, Mississippi's giant house party. Final segment is